So I have found myself cleaning a lot of hardware lately. Nuts, bolts, all kinds of trinkets, putting the car together. Actually, got a few different things going on. But I'm spending a lot of time cleaning hardware. So over the years, many people have suggested that I try an ultrasonic cleaner. And I know that for certain things, like household use, cleaning jewelry and stuff like that, they're fine. But people keep telling me, ultrasonic cleaner, you need one for the shop. So you know what? I figured, let's give it a shot. Let's try this. So I went by Harbor Freight and I picked up this 2.5 liter ultrasonic cleaner. Now this is the smaller of the two that they have available. That's this old jammy right here. I pre-unboxed it, so you missed out on that part of it, right? So this is the smaller of the two, 2.5 liter. They have a larger one with a stainless, case and all of that. Looks more shop-like, but I want to try the concept because, like I said, I know it will work on like carburetor parts. I know it'll work on household type of things. But how will it work as an aid? When you're flogging, you're throwing wrenches, you're trying to get a thing together, and you got to stop and clean. Well, it would be nice if I had something that I could just take a handful of hardware, throw it into, hit a button, and then do what I'm doing while it cleans itself. So I want to test this thing out. And like I said, if this works, if this lives up to like the expectations, then I'll just take this one home and use it for that, and I'll go get the larger one and keep it for the shop. So typical things that I have to clean are nuts and bolts, right? You take the car apart, all of the hardware is filthy. You know what I mean? It's a little rusty, it's a little cruddy. You can't put it back like that. You got to clean it before you put your stuff back together again. So what I've done here is I've got an assortment of hardware. And each of these things came from a similar deal. So in other words, these frame bolts all came from the same car. These valve cover bolts came from the same engine. These nuts came from the same rear end housing. And these also came from the same engine. So we want to give this thing as even a shot as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this set right here and leave this as is. And that's going to be our control. We're going to take these, and I'm going to give this thing the benefit of the doubt. I'm putting the least cruddy K-frame bolt in there. Everything else is pretty much equal. This is going to go into the sonic cleaner. And this I'm going to clean my traditional way. So what is my traditional way of cleaning parts? This thing right here. So I mounted this bench grinder to a portable stand. And so this way when I need to clean hardware, I just bring it by the door or I set it up wherever I have to and clean my stuff. Got to do a lot of messy grinding, I got that, and we've got to clean hardware, we've got this. So here we got it set up just so we can do a side-by-side comparison. All right, now, I watched several videos on ultrasonic cleaners, and a lot of guys are using dish soap and stuff like that. And I says, let's give this thing the best possible chance to work. I really do want it to work, because if it does, it's a good time saver. So rather than just dish soap or anything like that, I went out and picked up some actual ultrasonic cleaner. All right, so now the price on this was $80-something. This was another $8. It was about $100 out the door at Harbor Freight. The larger one is about twice the cost, so it would be roughly $200 out the door. But like I said, I want to give it its best shot. And it says here to use 1/4 teaspoon. The hell's a teaspoon, right? So we hit up Uncle Kathy Bananas, and she gave us her Betty Crocker style measuring thing, so that's a teaspoon. So we're going to put 1/4 teaspoon of this in the cleaner. And we've already pre-filled it with water. So the water is ambient room temperature at this point. And it has this nice little tray here to put your stuff on. All right. So the way this works, I could be a little cleaner than this, right? So this button here, the set button, is how you set the timer on this. So 480 seconds is 8 minutes. So you can put it up for 90 seconds, 180 seconds, 280 seconds, 380. or 480. So that's a full 8 minutes. So here's what we're going to do. We got that set. Okay. So now I'm going to put my 1/4 teaspoon. How do you measure a 1/4 teaspoon? That's a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. All right. So let's throw that in there. Okay. And let's throw our hardware in it. Okay. And then we hit the on button. Okay, so this thing is going to go to work now. It's going to percolate for the next 472 seconds. And while it's doing that, put the lid on that, let's clean this stuff the old-fashioned way. Okay. Could have done a little bit better job on the K-frame bolt, but that's all right. And we still have 288 seconds left on this thing. Let's see what it looks like. It sounds pretty severe. It's got a nice like science fiction buzz to it. All right, we'll just let it sit and make soup. All right, we're down to the last 35 seconds here. So let's give it a peek. Doesn't look like a whole bunch is happening in there. The water is at 70 degrees. I would have expected it to be a little hotter than that. Is it really that cold? It didn't sonic clean my finger. All right, so it just shut off. That was 8 minutes. It's really not even warm. So let's see what we got after 8 minutes. Okay. So, that can't be right. It didn't do jack to these things. That can't be right. I mean, the water's dirty. So like something happened in there. I don't know. I was definitely expecting something a little more significant than that. Maybe it needs more. All right, tell you what, let's do this. Maybe it needs more time. Let's give it another 8 minutes. Oh, come on. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's as high as it goes, 8 minutes. Maybe we didn't put enough of this stuff in here. Let's throw another half. Oh, with that. What do you listen? We got to give this thing a shot. Okay. Here, watch out. Throw a friggin' valve in there too and see what happens. Okay. On. All right. We'll give another 8 minutes. Going through the instructions, I actually use the instructions for this one. I may not have turned on the heat for the last one because you only had 70 degrees. So I see the red light is on for sure right now. So the heat is definitely on. We restarted it again. So that's what we've got left. Now we know we have the heat on and we know we've got the 8 minutes and we know we put enough of this stuff in there. Let's give it a look. All right, okay, a little more action this time. We got our same 70 degrees. Like there's no action, nothing. Be patient, be patient. All right, the heat button is on. Our regular temperature or ambient temperature of the room is 61 degrees, 62 degrees. And it's still showing 69 degrees, almost 70 degrees. So there is some heat happening there. I don't know, it doesn't say how hot it's supposed to get. All right, so that was the end of another cycle. So what do we got? Whoops. All right. Okay, we got some action here. All right, that's not bad. Well, it didn't really do anything for the valve. That's still a little scuzzy. That doesn't look too bad. That one came out pretty nice. All right, so this is 16 minutes total in the drink. Not terrible, not terrible. All right, so let's compare this. All right, so we started off like that. We hand cleaned to that, and this is what the sonic cleaner has done after 16 minutes. I think we could do better than this. Here, let me get in here. Let's throw this stuff back in there. Throw a valve back in. Let's throw the rest of this stuff in. Let's give it some dishwashing liquid too. And what else do we have here? Some all-in-one wood cleaner. I have no idea what I'm doing with that. Let's throw some of that in there. And what else do we have? I got this stuff. Throw some of that in there too. Okay. Set it for another 8 minutes. Turn the heat on. Okay. Let's see what it does. Kind of afraid to put my hand back in it now. All right, so this is the end of 24 minutes in this thing. I'm a little apprehensive about sticking my hands in that soup. So, okay, I should shut off. Whoops, what do we got? Stay on there. All right, we got some action here now. All right. It did nothing to the valve. Okay, so just leave that there. Watch, that valve's gonna melt overnight. Clean this off. Okay, so K-frame bolt, original condition, one that I cleaned on the grinder. Okay, so after 24 minutes, it's still not as clean as the one I hit the grinder with the wire wheel on it. This still has crud on it. So compare that to one we did by hand. This doesn't look too bad, this one. So one we did by hand, and one we did with the sonic. All right, so I think the nut actually disintegrated. I'm not reaching in there to pull it out. So 24 minutes. First 8 minutes we did it by direction, got us nowhere. Second 8 minutes we added a little more, and so after 16 minutes, it was kind of acceptable. Then we made our soup. I'm afraid to even dump that in the ground, actually. And this is the best we could come up with. So once again, sonic cleaner after 24 minutes with all kinds of things in there, cleaned on the wire wheel. I don't know, what I spent about 30 seconds on that, thereabouts. So, okay. So the verdict is, for regular shop use, like if you're going to think of this as an aid, it's like, okay, I'll just throw all my nuts and bolts in this thing and have that clean while I do something else. That is as useful as tits on a bowl. So forget it. Now, I guess if you've got to clean, like, I don't know, like fine china or something like that, Yeah, it's great. It looks like a household use deal. Now, people have told me over and over and over again that you need this to clean carburetor parts, because now I clean, you got carburetor, you got to go through the fine passages like in the booster body and all. I use a wire, and people have always told me, oh, you got to get a sonic cleaner. I don't have any dirty carburetors right now to throw in there, carburetor parts, to see if it's actually effective. But based on what I just saw here with this, I think it's going to be a waste of time. So, yeah, I'm not going to throw it out, but I seriously doubt this is going to get any real use in the shop. I don't know if I'm expecting too much from it. Like, it doesn't say anywhere on here, you know what I mean? Like forget it if you've got real work to do, right? It just shows you a bunch of shiny, clean things. So, central machinery, 2.5 liter ultrasonic cleaner. Don't waste your time or your money on it. See you tomorrow.